The stars shimmered above the surface of Zathar, a distant planet that humans had only recently begun to explore. Its skies glowed faint green with drifting particles, and the landscape stretched endlessly. Mountains with jagged edges, wide plains of silver sand, and strange crystalline formations that reflected light in dazzling colors. A team of human explorers had landed here, curious and cautious, studying the planet's flora and fauna. They were expecting danger, strange creatures, or unusual weather, but nothing had prepared them for what appeared that afternoon. Amid a cluster of crystal towers, a soft cry echoed. Lieutenant Carter, the team leader, raised his hand and motioned everyone to stop. The sound was faint but clear, human-like, almost a child's voice. The explorers scanned the horizon, searching for the source. Then through the mist and strange purple haze, a small figure appeared. It was a girl. Or at least she looked like a girl. She had wide, luminous eyes that seemed too intelligent for her size, delicate features and hair that shimmered silver in the pale light. She was tiny, no taller than a human child of 7 or 8. Yet there was an aura around her that made the humans feel she was more than she appeared. Her eyes locked onto the nearest human, and she spoke, her voice trembling slightly. "Are you my daddy?" The question hung in the air like a sudden, impossible storm. The team froze. Sergeant Lee blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. "Did she just ask that?" he whispered. Carter stepped forward carefully, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. We're humans, yes," he said slowly, unsure how to respond. "But we are not your daddy." The girl tilted her head and repeated the question. "Are you my daddy?" Her words carried innocence but also a strange urgency, like a memory she could not explain. The team exchanged confused glances. No human could understand why this alien child would ask such a question, or why she seemed to know the word daddy. Dr. Amir, the team's lead scientist, knelt down slowly to meet her gaze. "Hello," he said gently. "Do you live here? What is your name?" She shook her head. "No, I am lost. Daddy is here." Her voice was soft but desperate. The explorers felt a mix of fear, curiosity, and an odd sense of responsibility. They had faced alien creatures before, some hostile, some neutral, but nothing like this. This child was harmless, yet her presence carried a strange magnetic weight. "Carter," Dr. Amir said, whispering. She seems to recognize us. Not just any humans, but maybe something inside us." Carter nodded slowly. "We need to get her somewhere safe. The environment here is unpredictable, and we don't know what predators or storms might appear." He crouched to her level. "Do you want to come with us?" The girl paused, then nodded slightly. "Yeah, Daddy." No one corrected her. There was a strange honesty in her question, and no one could ignore the gravity of it. They guided her carefully back to their exploration ship, which hovered just above the silver sands. The girl moved with surprising grace, her small hands brushing against the crystal towers as if she drew strength from them. On board the ship, she immediately explored, touching panels and leaning over instruments with natural curiosity. She seemed fascinated by the human technology, yet cautious, as though she understood it was not hers. Dr. Amir scanned her carefully, noting her unusual physical characteristics. Her DNA was partially human, partially something entirely unknown, and her physiology suggested enhanced abilities. She could withstand cold, heat, and radiation that would be fatal to most humans. Carter watched her from across the room, uneasy but fascinated. "She's not normal," he muttered. "Not just in a biological sense. There's something about her presence. It feels like she tests us in a way." The girl's voice interrupted his thoughts. "Are you my daddy?" she asked again. Carter smiled awkwardly, not sure how to answer. I am a human. I will protect you if that is what you mean," he said finally. Her eyes widened slightly, as if she had understood something profound. She reached out and touched his hand briefly, a small gesture of trust. Over the next few hours, the crew tried to communicate with her, teaching her simple words, observing her behavior. She was intelligent beyond her apparent age, learning quickly and responding with expressions and gestures that suggested deep emotional awareness. Yet she returned constantly to her question. "Are you my daddy?" Dr. Amir studied her, puzzled. "I've never seen anything like this," he said to Carter. "Her DNA shows human origins, but it's mixed with something unknown. She's biologically engineered or something like that." But her behavior is emotional human, Carter nodded grimly. We'll need to find out who she belongs to or what she belongs to. For now, we keep her safe. That night, the girl slept in a small chamber aboard the ship, wrapped in a blanket provided by the crew. But her sleep was restless. She whispered in her sleep, "Daddy, where are you?" Her small fists clenched as if she feared something unseen. Carter stood outside the door, listening quietly. He could not shake the feeling that this child carried a purpose far beyond their understanding. The following morning, the ship's scanners picked up a faint signal emanating from the girl. It was unusual, low-frequency pulses that seemed to interact with the ship's systems. Dr. Amir examined the data. This is amazing, he said. Her body is sending out signals to a specific location, somewhere deep in this system. Whatever or whoever is Daddy, it's here. The team prepared for the unexpected. The signal pointed to a distant star system within reach, but the journey would be dangerous. Unknown gravitational anomalies, asteroid fields, and hostile alien creatures threatened any travel beyond the planet's immediate orbit. Yet the girl's insistence, the almost pleading nature of her question, drove their decision. They had to follow the signal. As the ship left Zathar's surface, the girl pressed her small hands against the transparent wall, staring at the fading alien landscape. Her voice was soft but filled with hope. "Daddy is there." "I know it." Carter glanced at her, feeling a protective instinct he did not understand. "We'll find him," he said quietly. "Whatever it takes." During the journey, the crew observed the girl more closely. She seemed to anticipate events before they happened, avoiding accidental injuries and even guiding the ship slightly during minor turbulence. It was subtle, almost imperceptible but undeniable. Dr. Amir speculated that her enhanced abilities were tied to her origin, possibly a combination of human DNA and alien technology. At night, Carter found himself sitting near her, speaking gently. "You've been through a lot," he said. "We don't know who you are or where you came from, but we'll protect you. We're your friends here." The girl tilted her head, studying him with her luminous eyes. "Are you my daddy?" she asked again. There was no accusation in her voice this time, only curiosity and a quiet hope. Carter smiled softly, unsure how to respond. I will be for now. We'll see together." The girl nodded faintly, accepting this answer with a seriousness that surprised him. She seemed to understand more than he could comprehend. That family was not always defined by blood, but by trust, protection, and care. As the stars blurred past the ship's windows, a sense of purpose settled over the crew. They were no longer just explorers. They had become guardians of something precious and mysterious. The girl's presence challenged their understanding of life, of empathy, and of what it meant to be human. She was small, fragile, and yet stronger than anyone realized. Days passed. The girl continued to explore, to learn, and to ask her question repeatedly. Each time she asked, the humans felt a mixture of amusement, compassion, and a strange tension, as if the universe itself waited for their answer. They grew attached to her, seeing the innocence in her eyes, the longing in her voice, and the courage in her actions. Then one day, the ship's scanners picked up something extraordinary. A distant planet within the system emitted a resonance matching the girl's signal. Her eyes widened and she clutched Carter's hand. "Daddy, he's there!" "I feel him." The crew prepared to descend, unsure what awaited them. They could see no signs of civilization from orbit, only a strange, glowing terrain and structures that hinted at intelligence. The girl's excitement was palpable. Her small body trembled with anticipation. Carter looked at his team. "We don't know what we'll find," he said. "But whatever it is, we protect her, no matter what." The ship descended slowly through the glowing atmosphere, casting shadows over the alien terrain. Strange shapes moved in the distance, almost imperceptible, as if the planet itself was alive. The girl's voice broke the silence. "Daddy, I will find you." And then, as the ship touched down, the girl ran forward, small feet pounding against the metallic surface, her question hanging in the air one last time before they would step into a world that held secrets beyond imagination. The ship's landing gears hissed as they touched the strange glowing surface of the distant planet. The terrain shimmered like molten glass under the light of the twin suns, and strange crystalline formations reflected the human team's flashlights in fractured patterns. The girl ran ahead, her small feet moving faster than seemed possible, as if the planet itself guided her steps. Her luminous eyes scanned every shadow, every curve of the alien landscape, filled with hope and an urgent need she could not fully explain. Lieutenant Carter followed carefully, keeping his hand close to the girl, while the rest of the crew spread out behind them, cautiously scanning the area. This was uncharted territory, and while the girl's signal had guided them here, nothing in their training prepared them for what they would encounter. Every sound, the low hum of the crystals, the faint rustle of the alien winds, made their senses sharper, their movements slower, more deliberate. The girl paused suddenly, her gaze fixed on a massive structure ahead. It seemed alive, not in the sense of movement, but as if the building itself was conscious, observing them. Its surface shimmered with a light that pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. She gasped, "Daddy!" "He is here," she whispered, clutching Carter's hand tightly. Carter knelt to her level. "Stay close," he said, his voice calm but firm. "We don't know what's waiting." She nodded, though her small face betrayed excitement and fear intertwined. The crew approached the structure slowly, their boots crunching against the smooth, glassy surface. As they drew nearer, they noticed figures moving within the glowing walls. They were humanoid, taller than humans, with elongated limbs and translucent skin that reflected the pulsing light. The air seemed charged with energy, and the temperature shifted subtly, warm yet electrified, as if the planet itself breathed. The girl stepped forward, and a soft melodic sound resonated from the structure. The figures inside stopped and turned their gaze toward her. Though they were alien in every way, their expressions were curious, almost gentle. One of them, taller than the rest and wearing a flowing garment that seemed woven from light, stepped forward. The girl's eyes widened and she ran toward him, stretching her arms. He knelt slightly, mirroring her movement, and spoke in a voice that carried both authority and warmth. "You have come," he said. The humans could not understand the words directly, but the girl's reaction told them everything. Her eyes filled with tears, her small body trembling. She whispered again, "Daddy?" Carter and Dr. Amir exchanged stunned glances. It was clear now. The signal, the girl's insistence, the strange energy within her, all pointed to a purpose beyond their understanding. She was searching for a connection, one that transcended biology. The figure before her radiated a presence that seemed to match the resonance of her signals. The girl reached him, and for a moment everything else faded, the humans, the glowing terrain, even the alien structures. It was as if time slowed, focusing entirely on the bond forming between the girl and this figure. She clutched his hands, her small fingers pressing against his glowing skin, and finally spoke with clarity. "You're my daddy?" The figure smiled softly. "In a way," he replied. "You were created to remember, to find the path, and to connect the worlds." The humans listened carefully, understanding now that this child was not merely lost, but a bridge between species. Dr. Amir whispered to Carter, She was designed to unite humans and this civilization. The question wasn't just about family, it was about connection, trust, and hope. The girl looked at the humans then, her luminous eyes shining with understanding. "These are my friends too," she said simply. "They helped me. They protect me." The tall figure nodded. "Then they are part of your family as well." His words carried a weight that resonated deeply with the crew. They had come here expecting uncertainty, possibly danger, but instead they found purpose, responsibility, and a profound bond that spanned species. Carter stepped forward, offering a hand to the girl. "We will always protect you," he said. "No matter where you go or what happens, you can count on us." She smiled, a small, radiant expression that seemed to light up the surrounding crystal formations. "Then you are my family too," she replied. Her words, though simple, carried immense meaning, and the crew felt a warmth in their hearts they had not anticipated. Over the next several hours, the humans and aliens communicated as best they could. The girl guided them, explaining through gestures and brief phrases that her world, the place she had been created for, had long awaited this moment. The aliens shared glimpses of their technology, advanced yet harmonious with the planet, and the humans marveled at their understanding of energy, biology, and planetary ecosystems. The girl's presence was the key that unlocked their trust. Dr. Amir approached the girl and asked gently, "Do you understand now why you were asking about your daddy?" She looked thoughtful, nodding slowly. "I was looking for belonging, for someone to trust, to guide me, to care for me. I didn't know it could be many people." Carter crouched beside her. "You found that now?" You have us, and them, and we will all protect you together." She smiled, her small body exuding confidence and peace for the first time since they found her. But their journey was far from over. The girl's presence had triggered ancient protocols within the alien civilization. Security systems and defensive mechanisms dormant for centuries began activating. Lights flashed across the crystalline landscape, and a low hum vibrated through the ground. Carter instinctively moved to shield the girl, realizing that while she was a bridge, her arrival also made her a target. The alien leader, noticing the activation, waved his hand, calming the systems. "She is safe," he said firmly. "But the universe has not forgotten her significance. Others may come seeking what she represents." The humans understood immediately. They had ventured far from their home planet, and now they had a responsibility not only to this child, but to the fragile trust between humans and this advanced alien race. The girl's repeated question, "Are you my daddy?" had been more than a search for a parent. It was a call for connection, a test of empathy, and a challenge to both species to rise above fear and suspicion. As the sun began to set over the glowing horizon, painting the sky with colors that had no name, the girl sat quietly beside Carter. "Will I see them again?" she asked, her voice small but steady. Carter smiled softly. "Yes, and you will help them understand us just as you helped us understand you." She nodded, her silver hair catching the last rays of the sun. "Then everything will be okay," she said. The humans and aliens around them shared a moment of quiet understanding, a recognition that this small being, so fragile, so innocent, was the key to a future none of them could have imagined alone. Night fell, and the crystalline structures glowed softly, illuminating the girl and her new family. She stood at the edge of a small cliff, looking out at the vast alien landscape, and spoke once more, softly, almost to herself. "I found my daddy, but I also found everyone else who cares, that is, my family." Carter watched her, feeling a surge of pride and hope. Humanity had always been explorers, warriors and survivors, but here, in the far reaches of the galaxy, they discovered something far more powerful: the ability to connect, to nurture, and to protect across worlds. The girl had tested them, questioned them, and ultimately taught them a lesson that no technology or weapon could. Empathy was the true strength of humanity. As they prepared to return to their ship, the aliens offered guidance and safe passage, promising cooperation and mutual respect. The girl held Carter's hand tightly, then extended it to Dr. Amir and the rest of the crew. "We are family," she said simply. The humans understood fully. In a universe filled with uncertainty, danger, and wonder, they had encountered something extraordinary, a being who reminded them that the most important bonds were not defined by biology or origin, but by care, trust, and courage. The ship lifted from the planet, carrying the girl, the humans, and their newfound understanding across the stars. She looked out of the window, her small face pressed against the glass, watching the planet fade into the distance. "Are you my daddy?" she asked softly, and this time it was not a question but a statement of trust. Carter smiled, knowing that in the vastness of space, they had all found a family, a purpose, and hope that would reach beyond the stars. As they set course for home, the girl rested her head on Carter's shoulder, calm and peaceful. She had come to them searching for a daddy, but she left teaching a universal truth. The strength of humanity was not just in exploration or survival, but in the ability to care, connect, and protect life, no matter where it originated. The stars stretched endlessly before them, but for the first time the vastness of space felt like home. Humanity had found a small, luminous girl, and in protecting her they had discovered the true measure of themselves. In her eyes the crew saw courage, hope, and a future filled with connection, proving that even in the farthest corners of the galaxy, the heart of humanity could shine brighter than any star. And as she whispered once more, almost to herself, "I found my daddy and my family," the humans knew that the universe would never be the same again.